really, really focus on those, because I think in today's business world, with the rate of change, with new technology, with all the new shiny bells and whistles, I think we, as business owners, as founders, as leaders in our businesses, you can become very distracted very quickly with new shiny stuff. And that's great. You know, we're always looking for new technologies to bring to customers, new solutions to bring to market. But if we lose sight of the foundational pieces, we're gonna lose our way in the woods pretty quickly.
Let me introduce Jerrod Sieverding of DPT Group. And Jerrod, thanks for coming on the show. Tell us a little bit about DPT Group and your the origin story, or the origin story of Jerrod and his team in it.
Yeah, Kurt, thanks for your time today, and happy to share and just have a dialogue. Without going too far into the past, very, very fortunate in my business career to have joined up with our organization in 2003 after graduating from Iowa State University. Go Cyclones. Got on board at that time, had the opportunity to work in outside sales roles, had the opportunity to lead in various leadership positions, from sales management, building small teams, then on to departments, then into the cross functions of the business, and then into business ownership positions throughout my career. And so, most importantly, very fortunate to have joined an organization that was already established, had a good foundation, had a lot of things that were in place and moving, and then could utilize what I brought to the table, but more importantly, an eagerness to learn, an eagerness to figure out what our customers really want, listen to our customers, apply those things, and continue building a team, building on the great foundation and work that have been done by many owner predecessors prior to me within this business. So, number one, I guess the biggest thing I'd share is a sense of gratitude for time and place, and having the ability to enter the business in 2003. Fast forward to 2024, 2 short decades later, here we are. We're an organization based in the upper Midwest. We've got an ownership group that, again, takes those core principles of, we want to listen to our customers, we want to figure out where the market's going, what our customers need, and we want to provide great service to our customers so that they say, man, we love doing business with you. Not like, we love doing business with you, we got to do business with you. And what that looks like today is we are in what we call the mechanical and electrical infrastructure space. We serve buildings, primarily commercial buildings, industrial, institutional, and data center and manufacturing facilities. If it's a single residential home, there's a chance we're not doing anything there. Anything outside of that has mechanical and electrical infrastructure inside of a building, we're going to be providing solutions from a new equipment standpoint, and then also just as importantly, ongoing service, aftermarket parts solutions for the life cycle of that equipment. So in doing so, we partner with about 108 different manufacturers of products in those spaces, not because we're on some grand march to some big number, but largely because our customers say, man, if you had this, that'd be awesome, and we'd work with you on that, right? So again, we just want to be a solutions provider, and we want to serve those spaces, and we've got our own little corner of the universe, as we'd like to say, in doing that. So that's just a quick background. And what do I do today? Well, there's a lot of hats, and we'll talk about those, and try to serve the needs of our customers first and foremost, and then at the same time serve the needs of our organization so we can continue to grow and fulfill the needs of our customers.
That was great, Jerrod. Thanks for sharing that background story. I heard some key words in there that I want to focus on was gratitude. I want to focus there just for a little bit, because you're not the founder of the company, but you are a current owner. What did you learn from previous owners, or what would you like to continue from that previous ownership group in this new generation of DPT?
Yeah, it's a great question, because it opens a lot of facets of the business, I think. So what do you keep doing? I think you always try to keep doing the things that you know are foundational to the business. You want to do those things very, very well. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to take care of customers. If you're not doing that, you're going to be out of business sooner than you think. Okay.
Yep.
So the customer has the most important voice. If you can keep your mouth shut and open both ears, and then keep your mouth shut and then keep both ears open and listen to them, again, keep ears open, mouth shut, they're going to tell you what they want, what they need, and what they expect. And then if I think, just from experience, we can go do that and deliver for them, they say, wow, you're good, and we want to work with you. Okay. So those are foundational things that I learned from people in the business prior to me, mentors in the business, such as David Cooper, Lauren Beam, Terry Franks, Gary Grasso, Fred Grasso, all of those guys, having been founders, building businesses from the ground up, they all understand and know those things are foundational. Okay. So to me, the foundational things don't change, and you really, really focus on those, because I think in today's business world, with the rate of change, with new technology, with all the new shiny bells and whistles, I think we, as business owners, as founders, as leaders in our businesses, you can become very distracted very quickly with new shiny stuff. And that's great. You know, we're always looking for new technologies to bring to customers, new solutions to bring to market. But if we lose sight of the foundational pieces, we're gonna lose our way in the woods pretty quickly.
I heard a theme there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the most important things to do, and the second most important thing to do, and the third most important thing to do, is to listen to your customers and keep your mouth shut until you hear what they really want, right?
Yeah.
That's about respecting your customers and understanding them. I think where I want to go with this now is what about DPT would you say is another facet of your culture in 2024 that either your customers or your partners, your manufacturers, I guess I would call them your partners, right?
Yeah.
Respect
Partners.
you. What's the calling card?
Yeah, so this is an interesting story, and I think the story brings a great point and really puts a bow around it. We found ourselves maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago, as we continue to grow, add team members, add new solutions, products, things that we were helping to put into the marketplace for customers. Somebody come knock on my door, Jerrod, I got this it's this really complicated question. It's so unique to me because, I'm dealing with UPS system by Vertiv, and there's this engineer involved, there's this contractor, and this guy said this, and this one's upset about that, and we said we'd do this, and this was wrong, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a deal I have on my hands. So we'd sit down and we kind of go through that, and we talk about it, and we put some solutions together, and then out the door they go. 20 minutes later, knock, knock, knock. Hey, Jerrod, I have the most unique problem in the world. You see, what I'm doing is I am selling a Johnson Controls chiller, and there's this owner, and then there's this engineer, and we said we do this, and then the bid document said that, and then we got this, and we tried to do that, but they said this, and then they want this, but then and sequence after sequence after sequence across all these solutions, people come knocking on the door with all these unique problems. And what we started to figure out, because it takes time to learn things, right, and you discern what's going on, all of our problems had the same root issue, which was what's the point of what we're doing around here? What's our purpose? Okay, so we as an ownership team had to sit down and say, hey, we need to clearly communicate to our people, what are we doing around here? Why do we show up every day, answer the phone, emails, and do all the stuff we do, besides trying to take care of our families and the backside results, right? So we tried to pull our purpose together, and our purpose became this very quickly: aggressively, relentlessly anticipating and exceeding our customers' and clients' expectations every day, while always building trust. Because it didn't matter then if it was a cooling tower problem for a Marley installation, or a VRF opportunity with LG, or whatever it might be. We bubbled all that stuff off, bubble all the technical off, and understand what are we fundamentally trying to do. And if you can just do that, if you can just follow our purpose, aggressively, relentlessly anticipating and exceeding our customers' and clients' expectations every day, while always building trust, now you got a framework to go get some things done. So that's We took the issues, we took the common themes, and then we tried to take something complex and nebulous and make it simple. Like Bill Gates says, take the complex, make it simple. What do I need to go do next? How do I solve this? And so then that leads to a whole bunch of what should we be doing every day if we're going to do that, right? And there
Right.
become
Yep.
very tactical things then that every member of the organization has access to go solve those problems. We do crazy things, Kurt, like answer the phone, return a phone call, okay? Get back to a customer. If they're mad, go see them face to face, okay? One of my favorite things to do, people come to me and say, Jerrod, I've got this email. I'm going to write it, and I'm going to have you review it. And then I want your input on it before I send it out to a customer, and then we're going to launch it into the ether, and then it's going to do something magical, and then it's going to come back, and they're going to say they're happy. And so I try to preempt all that and say, I'm not reading that email. Well, no, I need your help. I said, yes, you do need my help. And here is the help that you need. Pick up the phone, call the customer, go schedule a face-to-face meeting. No, we can't do that. Yes, we can. That's what we're going to do. Well, why can't we do that? Well, they might get mad. I said, good. I hope they get mad. What do you mean you hope they get mad? Well, I hope they get mad. If they get mad, that means they care. That means they want a solution. That means they want to work with us. If they don't get mad, that means they don't care and they don't ever want to do something with us again. And so the only way to solve this, my friend, is let's go get face to face. Let's sit down with them and let's figure it out.
So this is where I wanted to go. This is to me, this is your calling card. I think it translates to other leaders within your company. I know your company fairly well. I've met with the leadership team, but what I noticed after spending a couple of days with you all is the candor, number one, and the directness, number two. You're not a group of owners that likes to beat around the bush or likes to draw a circuitous route around a problem. You like to go right. You might be wrong, but this is what I'm thinking. Let me try it. This is what I think is the right way to go. And you're not going to be vague in the words that you use when you respond to someone's question. And to me, that gains a lot of respect. That earns a lot of respect with the folks that you do business with. And it's very infectious. I found that it's almost like it takes a few days to get that directness out of your system after you've spent some time with your group, because you do the same thing. It's a culture that you learn because it's nonstop. It's nonstop direct communication. It's nonstop. Here's what I think. Here's where I stand with what we're talking about. What do you think, Kurt? It's very refreshing. It's very refreshing, and I think that's one of the reasons for your growth trajectory. We won't talk about the numbers of your company today, but you know, the industry you're in is very high growth data centers. But the responsiveness, the directness, and the candor, I think, is one of the things that many things that set you guys apart.
Kurt, would you consider it to be radical candor?
So what do people think of that book? So I've read the book, right? And when someone sees the title of a book, Radical Candor by Kim Scott, what's their knee-jerk reaction before they crack it open?
This guy's gonna be a jerk. Yeah, this guy's gonna be a jerk. And so, as with all things in business and life, right, you can take things to the extremes. I think at times, if you don't show your commitment, if you don't show your resolve to tackle a problem very quickly, people begin to wonder, are you committed to the cause and taking care of the issue? Okay. I would rather be a little further on the other end of the spectrum of, man, they're going to really tackle this and get ahead of it. I'm not sure they're doing the right thing, but I know they're going to do something, right? I mean, yep. I'd rather leave a meeting having people say they're passionate, they're going to go put action behind something, and they're going to try something. Be not lukewarm, right? Don't be lukewarm.
There's nothing
And
worse than leaving a meeting. Sorry, go ahead. Keep going, Jerrod.
no, you and I are on the same page. You don't want to leave a meeting where they're wondering, are they going to tackle this and get after it, right? If I'm being brought to a meeting from our organization, it's generally not, hey, you guys are awesome and things are fantastic. I found that our team of sales professionals really good at handling the praise meetings. Okay. I get brought in almost like a Michael Clayton. If you've ever seen that movie,
Yep.
it's old George
Been a
Clooney.
few years. Yep.
Yeah, the fixture. Every firm needs a fixer. When it's like, oh my goodness, this thing's headed for complete disaster and the lawyers are ready and we all find ourselves in some weird position in business. That's where you've got to go get after it. And so I think going back to your question, radical candor allows you not only with customers, you're respectful, but hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is the action plan. Here's what we're going to do. If we have to pivot along the way, we'll pivot. Okay. But we're committed and we're going to tackle this and we're going to do it aggressively and we're going to get it done. Right. Not only do the customers respect it, now the team has a sense of everything's going to be okay. Right. We're going to figure it out. We don't have all the answers, but we're going to figure it out.
Here's the other thing I want to tackle in this right now is the way that you run your meetings. There's an outline, right? It's a memo. It's a document. That's a simple outline. The simplicity of it is refreshing, number one, but it's not without detail either. It's like there's some details in there. So, but it's an outline form, and you just tackle line by line by line by line. Any questions on that? Who owns that? Who's going to take that? What do you want? What do you want me to take? And it's very, very simple, structured, and action oriented. And it's something that I think other companies can use if their leadership meetings are not what they would hope they'd be.
I would agree. I think a team of people gets really annoyed and frustrated when they find themselves in meetings that are wasting their time. And so out of respect for our organization and everyone in it, they learn that our meetings are structured. I'm a big Lencioni fan, right? Death by meeting, 5 dysfunctions of a team. There's a lot of good information there that you can take and absorb and then craft as your own. It also bleeds itself into the whole traction series, right? And everything that goes on there. That'll also trace back to Good to Great. Sorry, I'm kind of a book junkie because I think you got to learn all the time, right? And so if you take those things, you're showing respect to the people in your organization because they know, man, if Jerrod's running a meeting, there's an agenda. There's going to be a to-do list coming out of it, and we're going to action item it. But then more importantly, if we action item it, there's going to be a follow-up to make sure those actions are done. We execute them and we move on. Mark Cuban, ideas are worthless. It's all about the execution. So we execute. We want to execute at a high level. You never bat 1,000, but we're always pushing to execute at a very high level. And I think your meetings are the first place that you inherently teach the team how to do that so that when they go out and get in front of customers, they start to deliver a message and information that's respectful to customers, that has an agenda. Here's the action items. We're going to follow up on them, and then it can perpetuate out into the market. That's the whole point.
What's a good cadence of meetings with your leadership team? I want to hear a little bit about the team after this, but how often do you meet? Will you have a meeting just to have a meeting, or is it
No.
Yeah.
No, so meetings to have meetings are highly unproductive / a waste of time. Mm-hmm. And so we think about, and again, anyone that's involved with traction, EOS, some of this could sound really familiar. You've got a yearly cadence, you got a quarterly cadence, you got your monthlies, you got your weeklies. Okay. And without verbatim taking things from there, let's just talk about a daily meeting. That's just maybe a quick 5-10 minute check-in. Let's say a service department says, man, we got to know where all the technicians are going today. That should be 15 minutes or less. Organizational, tactical, get it done. Everybody's out the door. Go. Easy. Weekly meetings, sales meetings, check-ins. Hey, here's who's coming in for the week for manufacturers. Here's the big things going on. Here's who's gone on trips, where they're going. This should be 15-30 minutes. Again, highly organized. One of the big things I do in meetings, Kurt, is I don't allow storytelling to propagate, right?
Yeah.
The great part about working with salespeople is they're creative and they do a lot of stuff. The downside is I'd like to tell stories, and I don't know if this is real word. It's a word I use, bloviate upon many different topics. No. This is the topic of the meeting. Here's where we are. Okay. So that's your weeklies. Monthlies are things where we can just review some of the big rocks we're working on. You can review some of the longer fuse things that you're developing. Quarterly and yearly meetings is where us as owners get together and pull in. The most important meeting we do as a leadership team, though, to answer your question, Kurt, is we hold a monthly face-to-face meeting with our owners where we have a prepared agenda.
Yeah.
We have tactical things we're talking about. We have strategic things. Built in it is an internal SWOT analysis. Built in it is a review of our people. Built in it is, hey, here are key areas we're looking to grow into. Here are challenges we're facing. So it's a day that we block off, turn off the phones, turn off the emails. We're focusing on this discussion, and then we continually action item out of that, resolve, and move forward. So to me, the monthly owners meeting is highly, highly important. You had somewhat of a glimpse of that the last time we were together. And I would consider that to be one of our annual meetings we did at that time.
Yeah, I would say that's more of a strategic offsite, annual strategic offsite. And a lot of that is, those are necessary, I think, when a change has happened, either in ownership or leadership, or there's a decision to be made about a big strategy that's new, right? That might take longer than the 30-minute or 1 hour face-to-face monthly meeting. And I think there's a place for them. And I was happy to be part of that one. And it's one of my favorite things to do is take a couple days, get out of the office if at all possible. I know it's more expensive, right? But go to a hotel or a country club or a park, even get outside and talk about the big ideas and connect without the phone ringing.
Right.
I want to go back to the books quick because I have to ask a guy a question that posts a book a week that he's read online and tells everybody what he got out of it. Why do you read so many books? Why do you read? Period.
Yeah, good question. So there's a couple fun little stories wrapped into this that maybe help drive it home. Number one, when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, I started to get introduced to people in the business world, people in various different walks of business, people in different industries. And one of the common themes I kept hearing and would be reinforced to me was, Jerrod, the more you read, the more successful you will become. And so at 18, 19, 20 years old, living in a college dorm and wanting to find my way in the world, I thought, that sounds nice. I'll do that. Okay. I was pretty simple, but I just didn't want to work there and pursue a career there. So why I tell you all of that is take that work ethic I had. Somebody said, several people said, hey, Jerrod, start reading, start learning, start absorbing information, because whatever industry you get into, that's going to give you a great foundation to figure a lot of things out. And so why do I do it? I do it because of those two key things. Now, where did the once a week come from? This is another interesting story. So I picked up this reading habit from 18, 19, 20 years old. And as I set my yearly goals for my own development, right? That's a key component ever since then. Okay. And so I'm doing this for 15, 20 years. And for my 40th birthday, my wife says to me, Jerrod, it's your 40th birthday. What do you want for your birthday? And I said, Kristen, I don't want anything. I just want to go out to dinner with you and the kids. I want to hang out, just low key. I don't want to party. Don't want any gifts, none of that stuff. And so my wife is super, super fantastic. So that's what I give her to work with, right? And so she takes and she figures out, she knows me so well. She says, okay, here's what I'm going to do. She reaches out to people I work with, people in my professional network, family, friends, people I coach youth soccer with, all this stuff, right? And she says, here's what we're going to do for Jerrod's birthday. Because he's always reading and he's always recommending books to people. Each of you for Jerrod's birthday are going to get him a book and you're going to give it to him. Okay. So I'm like, I didn't know this. So this is all going on. And my birthday's like Wednesday, it's midweek or whatever. So the weekend before my birthday, we get a lot of family over and she does a cake and all this other stuff. And she says, Jerrod, people have presents for you. I said, hey, no presents. And so what starts happening is I get a book from my brother. I get a book from my sister-in-law. I get a book from my mother and father-in-law. I get a different book from her sister and then her husband, and then the other sister and husband, and then my sister, my brother, and then people I coach with. And so I got I don't know, 10, 15 books. And I said, hey, here's what I'll do. because typically I write a handwritten thank you note, okay, for any gift I receive. I said, this is a fair number of books here. Instead of handwriting a note, what I'll do is I'll read your book and then I'll post it online as a thank you. I'll post it both to Facebook and
That's
LinkedIn.
neat. That's cool.
Okay. And so that way, that'll be the thank you note that'll go out. And so I'm 15 to 20 books in this, and it's the first weekend of birthday week.
Wow.
And the problem is, Kurt, I've now made a commitment. And if I made a commitment, you know me, I have to follow it. So we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, I get, 10, 15 more books. And then we get to Thursday, Friday, and a bunch of coworkers, I got another 20 books. And so by the end of this whole thing, over a week or two, I literally have this pile of books sitting in my home office of, I think there were 84 of them. Okay. And I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to do this? And so what I started doing is I said, okay, I'm going to get through this stinking pile for my 40th birthday as quickly as I can. And that year, I don't recommend doing this. It isn't healthy. I think I got through 56 or 58 of them, and I was posting them like crazy. And
More
so
than a book a week. Wow.
Oh yeah, it was beyond a book a week. It was really kind of reckless. And so I get all that done, right? And I'm like, once this is done, I'm taking a breath. Okay. And so I do that. And then within 2 to 3 months after kind of taking a breath, I'm talking to different people in the business world. And 5 times in 2 weeks, I had the same conversation. Hey, Jerrod, you quit posting books. I loved your posts. What? You need to post more. So I said, hey,
really? They got used to it.
Yeah.
Like Pavlov's dog, or
I only got so much time here.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, here's my commitment. And if you find me on LinkedIn or Facebook, please reach out. If I don't know you, just recommend, hey, heard you on the podcast, reaching out to you, want to connect because I want to see your book list. I am putting out a book about every 3 to 4 weeks now, something much, much more healthy.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Yeah. To balance all that and put it in metrics, since I've been 18, 19 years old, I've had a personal development goal to read a minimum of 20 books a year. And so you think about the compounding effect, not just for me, but now I have a library literally in my office. Okay. And there's lots of goodies. I can't go without recommending some books. So I'll try to intersperse these, throughout our conversations.
I got that top one.
Yeah.
For sure. Coach.
So there's lots of good things you can learn, but for me, I wanted to be able to be in a constantly learning environment. I wanted to help facilitate an organization that's a continuously learning organization.
Yeah.
Continuous improvement, thinking about what we do.
Well, I think it's the same concept. Reading a book a week and going to CEO peer group meetings, doing a podcast like this is let's say when you read the book, you're hearing other people voice a lot of your thoughts, and they're just making a more articulate case maybe, or it's in the written word, and it gives you confidence to go out and say, it's not just me thinking this thought, it's Kim Scott, it's John Wooden, it's Steve Jobs, right? They all went through the same thing. Here's what they did. And then you go in the room and you go and you say something like that, and people go, oh, he knows what he's talking about. He's schooled up on this topic, right?
Yeah. I've heard it said, Kurt, you can either learn through your own experiences and the cost that comes from it, or you can learn through other people's experiences, and then you don't have to pay the price, right? So, if I can pick up, what he's thinking for, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks, heck of a lot cheaper than the investments he probably had to make along the way on some of the mistakes they made. I get cheap knowledge, right?
Right. How to Not Get Fired by Your Board of Directors by Steve Jobs.
That's a good thing.
That's second time. How to Grow a multi-billion-dollar business the second time around after they realized they made a mistake. Yeah. I like it. Let's spend a little bit of time on conversations and hard conversations. I think this is a topic that you do not shy away from. It's one that nobody likes to have. Either performance conversations with their teammates or their peers, or culture conversations, but I think it suits you well in your organization, and you've been tapped to do them. But how would you tell the audience that's listening right now the importance of having crucial or difficult conversations with someone on your team that's just not getting the picture or just not
Yeah.
fitting in with the culture?
Yeah, so that's always a good one, right? And it's one of the probably least desired roles in an organization. And so first and foundationally, everything has to start from a foundation of trust, respect, and care, right? If we have done the diligence to bring somebody into our organization, we let them know, look, the reason we're inviting you into our organization is because we want you to be a part of it for the rest of your career. Okay? We want to help you grow and achieve and get to those areas that you want to get to. Now, that being said, you have two options on how we interface. And I literally had this conversation Monday with a group of people as we're talking about, hey, we're planning 25 and here's some things we need to address. Here's what we're doing well, but hey, here are areas of weakness we need to address. And I said, there are really two options for this group of people and how you interface with me. And you all get to pick. So you tell me what you want, okay? And then I will deliver the information based upon which you choose. Okay, this
Yep.
is your choice, and I'm seeking your permission on which path we want to go down. I said, A, I can sit here and I can tell you how wonderful you are, and I can tell you how much I respect you and appreciate your efforts, all of which I do. Okay, and I'm happy to verbalize those and give you a whole bunch of rainbows and purple unicorns. I can do that. And I can blow smoke as much as you want and need if that's what it takes to move you to the next level. Okay. Or option B is I can be very candid with you. I can give you data. I can tell you what our manufacturers expect, and I can tell you what the marketplace will bear. And then I can compare that to our current level of performance. Please pick A or B. It's kind of like the red pill, blue pill thing in the Matrix, right? Which do you prefer? And to every one of them, in their credit, they said, Jerrod, you're not an A type of leader. Okay.
Right.
You're not path A, you're path B. And if you communicate to us in any other form than path B, we would find it very weird.
Insulting, or it would just be, it wouldn't have the right feel because it's not you, is what they're
Right.
saying, basically.
Right.
That's interesting. They turned it around on you. You told them, how do you want me to communicate with you and essentially treat you when we have
Yeah.
issues to discuss? And they said, well, in the way that you're accustomed to doing it, that's natural. I had a similar thing. You just got me thinking. I'm sorry if you was there more to that?
No.
Okay.
No.
When I met with a coach years ago, the coach said to me, but it wasn't as well communicated as what you just did. They just said, how do you want me to treat you? Was the question they gave me. And I was young, and I just, maybe I had just watched The Godfather or something. I said, with respect, like
Yeah.
with respect.
Yeah.
That was my response. And I don't know if that was the right response or not, but that's really all I'm looking for is respectfully, treat me respectfully. And it's
Right.
after that, there was more conversation, but it started off very awkwardly with how do you want to be treated? And I think if you think of it that way, my answer wasn't perfect, but that's what I was feeling,
Because Kurt, built into the discussion we're having right now, and the question behind the question is, hey, what we're really trying to do here is build a high performance environment culture, right?
Mhm.
We're trying to continually focus on customers. We're trying to perform with business metrics behind it. Okay. And again, behind it, most important thing is the customers. We know what those internal metrics are. And this is a high performance environment for our outside sales professionals, those that deliver frontline service, those are supporting both of those groups. Everyone's involved in the high performance culture, right? Because it's all built upon great service to our customers. And so if we're going to be a high performance culture, we have to tackle and address, what do we do well? What isn't working? It can't be gray. It's black and white. We're either winning, right? Or we're not. And if we're not winning on taking care of the customer and meeting the expectations of our manufacturers and delivering to the marketplace, then where are we and where do we need to get to do that?
You know what? I think I want to close with connection and chemistry, because I'm starting to think it's not just Jerrod that's leading up this DPT group. It's a handful of individuals that have earned their spot in the company. And I'm wondering, when you deal with either manufacturers or employees that report up to the leadership, how did you decide to break up or partner with or pair your leaders with either employees or clients. That's
Sure.
something that you thought about and really
Mhm.
specifically said, well, this isn't going to work out if Jerrod's with him or Jerrod's with her. You know, was there a philosophy or strategy behind that, and how's that working?
Yeah, so I'd really like to highlight two levels of thinking on putting that path together. Level number one of the thinking is we believe very much in promoting from within, hiring from within, helping grow our organization literally from the ground up. And that starts all the way back at the beginning with our internship program. Okay, we believe interning individuals in this industry, in this business, is a great way to help them see, is this something they want to do? Help us understand, is this a right fit culturally for our organization? Do they have some of the same core values, beliefs, characteristics that we look for? And so the entry point into our organization is often as an intern and then move through the various roles in the business. So as you grow in the business, you inherently have internal relationships. You inherently have an internal working knowledge of levers that you would want to pull in different business units. And candidly, with the leadership team in place today in our organization, each one of those leaders has come through one of those organizations. Maybe they were an intern, maybe they are hired from the industry. There's a lot of different pathways in, but they've all worked within those specific business units, within those specific knowledge bases. They have deep technical knowledge, they have deep relationship knowledge, and they have deep customer knowledge. So bringing those together to lead then other groups of people just becomes a very natural outflow. Are we opposed to ideas outside of our organization that can help us? Absolutely not. We're just very intentional about protecting the culture.
I like it. Domain expertise, technical expertise, relationships, because it makes it harder for someone to penetrate your business or buy it, or maybe just I guess compete with you. If you're hiring within and you're showing hope and growth to people that start out entry level, right?
Right.
It allows you to promote within. It's a great strategy and a great business philosophy.
Kurt, it hopefully makes us a multiplier in our
There you go.
business, right?
Hey.
So that maybe we can go start fishing in some blue oceans, because ultimately we know we're playing an infinite game and trying to help our people become rainmakers.
Mm-hmm.
And totally unrelated, I love this book, Living with a Seal by Jesse Itzler. I had no way to pull that one in, but it was in the file and I had to.
I just love this, and I don't care.
It was great.
I'm not ringing a cash register of promotion referrals to the book writers. This is just the stuff that I love, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because who hires a Navy SEAL to come live with them for a month and say, do to me whatever you need to do to me to put me in the shape you think I need to be in?
Is that what that book's about?
100%. He hires a Navy SEAL that he finds on ultra marathons, brings him in, and this guy's on planes traveling, and he gets worked out every day. And it's crazy what they do. So check the book out. It's pretty good.
I will check it out. The Rainmaker one I read early on. I told you the story when I saw you. My sales manager at my first job said, he didn't tell me to read the book. He just said, are you doing this, and this in your daily, as you go along in your week on your agenda? I was doing like 1 out of 10 of the things that he told me to do. And then I bought that book, The Rainmaker, How to Be a Rainmaker. And it basically said, do all those things that your boss just, that he identified.
Yeah.
I am not a rainmaker. Until I do those things consistently, I am not a rainmaker.
Right.
So to your point, you will be successful if you read. You will be successful if you do these things. It was very simple to you early on when you were a kid and a farmer, that message.
Yeah. I basically understood there's a lot I didn't know and there's a lot I need to learn, and I'm always going to be learning, and it's a great journey, right? Enjoy the journey, enjoy growing and learning. It's not about where we're at. Don't fall in love with, we did this year and our numbers were this and this and this and this. That's all great, but I suggest stay in love with the journey, stay in love with growth, stay in love with building teams, stay in love with helping people grow into what they can become. And, kind of like John Wooden says, if you focus on the process and the daily things you got to do, the other stuff starts to take care of itself to some degree.
Let me do one more thing, actually, if you have enough time.
I got time.
I've heard a lot of great advice. I've heard a lot of stories of how to be successful, right? Can you share a struggle or a particular business struggle or personal, if you want, that, one of those moments where you wanted to crawl under your desk and just, and just like, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how you got from that mentality of I'm going to crawl under my desk because this is so hard. I don't think I can do this, or I can't get past it, or I'm embarrassed, or whatever. All right, I figured it out because I read that book and because I have a good peer, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I have an experience that comes to mind from, I don't know, over the last 3, 4, 5 years. And it was a tricky one, right? So, it's bad when you get the initial phone call, and to your point, the initial reaction you're thinking is, oh boy, I've had some doozies. I really don't know how we're going to solve this one. And it could be really bumpy, right? But you always start with the solution-based mindset of, okay, it looks ugly, but we're going to figure it out. And this particular call was a customer gets a hold of one of our sales engineers and says, hey, we have a problem on this job with some big equipment. Okay, first pass, what's the problem? I get involved in the next meeting with the president and CEO of the organization that says, Jerrod, I'm talking to you face to face because if this doesn't go correctly, there's going to be lawyers and really mad people involved, and things could get really ugly. And he says, what I need to know from you in 24 hours is, do I need to contact my insurance provider on my liability insurance? So that's a real deal, right? That's okay. Everyone's attention is very high. And I said to him, you don't need 24 hours. You do not need to contact your liability insurance provider. We will figure it out. And then I thought, I have no idea how we're going to figure this out.
And you had no idea how you're going to figure it out. You just said we will, but we will.
We will figure this out. I had snippets of ideas. I had resources that I knew. I had paths to it, but I did not have a B, C, D. This is the answer. Okay.
Yep.
And so what I did during that discussion was I said, you don't have to contact them. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call you every 24 hours with the progress that we've made. Some days the call will be, we have no progress. Some days it will be, hey, I might have taken a step back today, but I will call you every 24 hours, good, bad, or otherwise. And he said, I appreciate that. And so for the better part of 2 weeks, we were on the phone every day, somewhere between 4 and 4:30, updating on what happened, where is it, okay, what progress have we made, how do we solve it, we could do it this way, the factory says this, the field says that. And I'm not going to get all the details of the job, but it was essentially an iterative process of, I knew who I had to talk to at the manufacturer. I knew the next meeting I had to have. I knew the next technical piece we had to solve. And 24 hours by 24 hours, we just worked our way through it. The message is, you don't get substantial growth without substantial conflict. So you need conflict for the business to grow, for the team to grow, for your credibility to grow, for your customer service skills to grow. Conflict is the crucible of growth.
So you earned relationship capital in that example. I would say, I don't want to ask you how much business you got after that from that client, or what did that show? How did that increase your trajectory? Was it through people observing your actions internally? Was it the client observing your actions externally, or a little bit of both?
All of the above. So number one, as we were going through it, I also shared, I didn't share all the gory details, right? Not all of the sausage making with our internal team, but we shared, this is what's happening. This is what's going on, because we wanted to raise our internal team's awareness and ability to say, okay, there's some stuff that can go on, and this is how you solve it. Okay. And this is the mindset you use to get there. To your question of how much business has it garnered us, I've never taken the time to quantify. Okay. The most important piece of feedback we've received is, Your organization did a fantastic job taking what we knew, Jerrod, was a very ugly situation, and you handled it differently in an incredibly great way, different than others in your space would have handled it. You did as good of a job as professionally as you could, and you took care of a really sticky situation. And we thank you for that. For me, that's the testament. That's the we're doing
Yeah.
what we're supposed to do.
That's great. And I'm sure that's not the first time you told that story. I would tell that to new hires. I would tell that to new leaders, you know, partners, because that's the essence of the whole aggressively, what was it? The aggressively, relentlessly pursuing,
I'll
exceeding.
send it to you. I'll send it to you. You can throw it in on the video footage somewhere. All right.
This was great, Jerrod. I appreciate your time today. We may do another one if you feel like there's more stories to tell, but I think we got the books, we got the philosophy, the candor, which is what I wanted to get out of this conversation. I appreciate your insights, and I hope the owners that listen to this appreciate it as much as I do.
Same. And Kurt, I want to take a moment to thank you for having me on today. Hopefully I shared some things that can help people, number one, have a high level of gratitude about the opportunity they have. Number two, stay humble. Number three, stay an active learner. And number four, realize we're only as good as today, right? Doesn't matter what we did years ago. We got to be a little bit better each day. And one of the things I'll close with, Kurt, is when people ask me, hey, Jerrod, how you doing? And I'd like to say I thought this one up myself, but I actually took it from a good friend of mine by the name of Nick Staub with Johnson Controls. And I use it every day. Hey, how you doing, Jerrod? Best day of my life so far, Kurt.